Why is it that in a world obsessed with staying young forever, one group of people walks around with a calm that death cannot shake? I'm talking about Muslims. You see, fear of death controls most of this world. It makes people lie. It makes people cheat. It makes people chase money they do not need. It makes people terrified of silence. But when you look at Muslims, you notice something different. They grieve, they cry, but deep down, they are not afraid of dying. And that confuses people. Here's why. Muslims are not taught that death is the end. They are taught that death is a doorway. From the moment a Muslim is old enough to understand life, they are taught one simple truth. You do not belong to this world. You are passing through it. See, most people think life is about holding on. Islam teaches life is about letting go at the right time. Muslims believe this life is temporary. Like a hotel stay, you unpack what you need. You act right. You do not destroy the room because you know checkout is coming. That belief changes everything. When you believe death is not an enemy, but a meeting, you stop living in panic. In Islam, death is not random. It is scheduled. Every soul has an appointment, and you cannot be early, you cannot be late. That alone removes fear. Because if you cannot escape death, why be scared of it? Instead, Muslims focus on preparing for it. Here's something powerful. Muslims do not ask, how long will I live? They ask, how will I live? That is dangerous thinking. In a good way, because when death does not scare you, you stop selling your soul for temporary things. You stop stepping on people. You stop worshiping money. You stop being desperate for approval. Why? Because Muslims believe something that shakes the modern world. They believe accountability does not end at the grave. In Islam, you do not disappear. You are not erased. You are not forgotten. You stand before God, not your parents, not your followers, not your bank account, just you. And that belief creates courage. A Muslim knows, if I live right, death is not punishment, it is relief. Let me say that again. For a believer, death is not loss, it is arrival. Islam teaches that the grave is not darkness for everyone. For the righteous, it is peace. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, the world is a prison for the believer and paradise for the disbeliever. Think about that. If this world is the prison, then death is freedom. That does not mean Muslims want to die. No, Islam forbids suicide. Life is sacred, but it means they are not enslaved by fear. That is why you see Muslims pray 5 times a day. Prayer is not ritual, it is rehearsal. Every prayer reminds them, you will stand, you will bow, you will submit one day for the last time. So when death comes, it feels familiar. Muslims also believe something the modern world avoids. Pain has meaning. Suffering is not pointless. Hardship is not random. Every tear, every loss, every struggle, it is either erasing sins or elevating rank. So even death, even tragedy, has purpose. That gives peace. When someone dies in Islam, you do not hear hopeless words. You hear, to God we belong, and to Him we return. That sentence alone explains everything. If you belong to God, why fear going back? Muslims believe that this world is unfair by design. Justice is delayed, not denied. That is why death does not terrify them. Because if someone escapes justice here, they will not escape it there. And if someone is oppressed here, they will be honored there. That belief balances the soul. Here's the part that really shakes people. Muslims believe God is more merciful than He is punishing. So death is not meeting an angry tyrant. It is meeting a creator who knows your struggles. A God who saw what nobody saw. A God who counted what nobody counted. That changes fear into hope. Islam teaches that even a sincere intention, even a quiet patience, even unseen endurance is rewarded. So a Muslim thinks, if God saw my struggle, why should I fear meeting Him? Let me tell you something else. Muslims wash the dead, wrap them simply, and bury them quickly. No luxury, no delay. Why? Because death is not something to decorate, it is something to accept. The simplicity reminds the living. This is where we all go. No designer clothes, no titles, no followers, just you and your deeds. And that truth frees people, because when you are not afraid of death, you are hard to control. You cannot threaten someone with loss. When they believe gain comes after, you cannot silence someone with fear. When they believe God hears everything, that is why throughout history, Muslims stood firm under torture, under oppression, under injustice, not because they loved pain, but because death did not own them. Life did not own them. God did. That is power. Islam does not deny fear. It disciplines it. A Muslim fears dying in a bad state, not dying itself. They fear injustice, not death. They fear hypocrisy, not the grave. And that focus builds strength. So when you see a Muslim calm in chaos, peaceful in grief, grounded in uncertainty, now you know why. They are not fearless. They are faithful. They are not careless about life. They understand it. They know death is not goodbye. It is see you later. And that belief, that deep certainty, is why Muslims are not afraid of death. Because for them, death is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of the real one.